To the top story then, assembly elections in 5 states have concluded and results of exit polls are in. So here are the key takeaways. It's a cliffhanger in Madhya Pradesh with the Congress having a slight edge. Most exit polls are also predicting Congress to return to power in Rajasthan, while Chhattisgarh seems to be headed for a hung assembly. TRS could be retaining power in Telangana and Mizoram could be headed for a photo finish. Now let me start with Madhya Pradesh. Of the exit polls that have come out so far, 6 polls are giving Congress the lead and 3 to the BJP. Remember, the incumbent Shivraj Singh Chauhan is seeking a 4th term as the Chief Minister from Madhya Pradesh to Rajasthan. The Congress is holding aces in Rajasthan. 6 exit polls are predicting a comfortable victory for the Congress, and only 1 poll has BJP in the lead. And that is also a very slender lead. Now let's go to Chhattisgarh, where it's a tight race there as well. 6 polls are giving the lead to BJP and 3 are giving the lead to the Congress. But these leads as well are wafer thin, and most polls in the state seem to be headed for a hung assembly. In Telangana, the incumbent TRS is leading in all the 5 exit polls that have been released so far. Pollsters are predicting that K. Chandrasekhar Rao may lead TRS. Chandrasekhar Rao-led TRS may retain power in the state. Let's also shift focus to Mizoram then, where 2 exit polls so far are predicting a close fight between the Congress and the Mizoram National Front. They, however, don't see the BJP making its entry in the northeastern state. We spoke to a whole host of market experts. Listen in to what they make of the exit polls.
If you look at the numbers, they're all over the place, frankly.
Yes.
And my guess is Rajasthan was more or less a consensus as to which way the election is likely to. It was quite a strong, pre-poll, anti-incumbency. Yeah. So a 2-1 or a 1-2 kind of a scenario on the 11th probably won't impact the markets too much. A 3-0 may be a little weak for the market, but again, then we have to see what the margins are. If the margins are not too great, then probably it'll be an event probably which will impact the markets for a week or so, and then we'll be back to looking at the fundamental data.
Personally speaking, it's a great thing what's happening, because what it shows is the very short journey from invincibility to fearful losses. And I think the lesson for everybody is you can't play around with the economy, and if you play around with the economy, the voters will penalize you. So I think if it's a 3-0 or a 4-0, I think there will be a great relief in the market that the ruling party will come back and do something serious to the economic side of the business and correct things which have gone wrong, and we should see substantial upliftment. So I think a great loss is maybe a great victory for the stock market, as it may turn out to be.
Around any election outcome, there's always lots of expectation, lots of things moving around, and they always last for maybe 2 days or 3 days. So I think whatever is the outcome, I believe that it will last 2 days and then market will get back to normalcy. But assuming that let us say an outcome goes against the government, I would say you will again see a short-lived correction or a temporary narrative which is getting built that, oh my God, what will happen to the now? This is the sort of trend towards what's going to happen in 2019. But I do believe that market narratives keeps on changing. Then market can also build a narrative saying that, oh, people will vote for state differently and central differently. So I think it depends on what is the underlying tone of the market, and market builds narrative around that.
I believe that I think the exit poll outcome is meaningful to interpret, but at the same time, I think the main result when it comes out, I think that time we have to look at things a little bit more differently. I think Rajasthan is already discounted as far as I think the market is concerned. Madhya Pradesh, I think we are basically saying that yes, I think there could be a possibility of BJP losing Madhya Pradesh, but by what margin, I think that will have to be seen. Market will probably take this kind of a shock into its side, and probably I think in a couple of days it will start recovering back.
We also caught up with the Rajasthan Congress chief Sachin Pilot, who many political experts believe may just become the Chief Minister of Rajasthan if the Congress wins the state. Here's what he had to say on his expectations from these assembly elections.
Whatever feedback I'm hearing from our party sources across the state is that the Congress party is headed for a big victory in Rajasthan, as also in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. It's indicative of the fact that there is a swing and a mood against the BJP. and no amount of campaigning by tall leaders can actually satisfy the people, because the voters now want answers, want accountability, and they are accepting the blueprint and the roadmap that the Congress party has to offer, as opposed to jumlas that they've been hearing for the last 5 years. The Prime Minister and all the tall leaders of BJP were campaigning here, quite frankly, not to win. They wanted to have respectable numbers even in defeat. They knew that they were going to lose because the government had really performed very poorly. They failed on all fronts. So Vasundhara ji was set to go. But to my mind, the last effort that the leaders were putting in were to get some respectability even in their numbers when they lose. But I think it tells you something that the Prime Minister and Amit Shah have campaigned so aggressively, left nothing to chance, used so much money and muscle. Despite that, people are not going to vote for them in either of the 3 states. It tells you that there is a move against the BJP, and 2019 will be an election where UPA will be able to get the NDA out of Delhi. Vasundhara ji was very cut off from the people for most part of her tenure, and then her priorities were wrong. The state was witnessing farmer suicides. There were all sorts of basic problems. She tried to privatize a lot of these schools and hospitals, which I think people didn't accept. And also the kind of governance that she was delivering was not up to the mark. People, I think, felt betrayed despite having given her a huge mandate in 2013 December. So therefore she was bound to go.
Time for a short break on that note, but coming up next, the big CNBC TV 18 exclusive. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway is believed to be in talks to buy at least 10% stake in Kotak Mahindra Bank. That report when we return. On to the latest news in the Adani electricity saga then, where the state power regulator MERC announced that it has set up a 2-member committee to investigate what it calls unduly high tariffs charged to the customers of Adani Power in Mumbai. Kevin Lee, who has been tracking that story, joins in with the latest. Kevin, tell us what the MERC had to say about this issue and what was Adani's response to this?
Well, the MERC making its stance very clear now. In the interim, while that fact-finding committee decides if bills were in fact inflated to the extent that customers have been complaining about, they have told Adani to verify the metered consumption of customers and not take an average of the last few months. Also, they've asked Adani to refund excess amounts that may have been paid by customers with interest as well. So if you are a customer in Mumbai who's been aggrieved by Adani Electricity, chances are that you'll get your money back and then some. Now, what the MERC has also said is that it's going to observe Adani Electricity's bills for the month of December. It set up a 2-member fact-finding committee, like you mentioned, and it said that 1.10 lakh Adani customers out of a total of 27 lakh were affected by this issue and reported an increase in their bills by an average of at least 20%. Adani has also responded to us. They've said that they're glad that the MERC has acknowledged that some part of the inflated billing was because of higher consumption, because of warmer temperatures and also shifting slabs. They've said that they will follow down the guidelines that have been laid down by the MERC, and it is open to MERC's fact-finding committee to do whatever investigation that they have to do. I did catch up with the MERC chairman Anand Kulkarni after the MERC press conference, and he said that this is not just about Adani Electricity. Listen into that conversation.
See, among other reasons, Adani Electricity said that October is a month of heat. You know, they call it October heat. So, because of this heat, there was increase in consumption. So, that was one of the reasons. And there were 2 or 3 other technical reasons. This is the legacy which they have inherited. There is something called fuel adjustment charge and other things. So, those accounts, that particular burden was on them. So, we first of all had to verify these. Yes, these were the reasons. Apart from that, were there any other reasons? Were the meters all right? Were the meters faulty? Was the meter reading correctly done? Were there any systemic errors, you know, while preparing the bills? Well, you rely on computers, yes. After all, but who handles the computers? Who feeds the computers? They are humans. To err is human. So therefore, we have appointed a 2-member committee. So they are supposed to go into reasons for this, related to this, if there are any other issues. So what we'll use this opportunity to also go into the spheres of Tata's, Best and Maharashtra State Distribution Company Limited, take a comparative view.
All right, here's the other big national news that we've been tracking, and that is Krishnamurthy Subramanian has been appointed India's next chief economic advisor. His appointment comes nearly 6 months after Arvind Subramanian resigned from his post due to pressing family commitments. A PhD from Chicago Booth and a top-ranking IIT-IIM alumnus, Subramanian currently serves as an associate professor of finance and executive director for the Center for Analytical Finance at the Indian School of Business. He also serves as a member of SEBI's standing committees on alternative investment policy, primary markets, secondary markets and research. This apart, Krishnamurthy Subramaniam is also believed to be a board member on the Bandhan Bank, the National Institute of Bank Management and the RBI Academy boards. And that's not all. In 2015, he co-authored a paper with the now RBI Deputy Governor Viral Acharya on the health of India's public sector banks. Now moving on, Priyanka Chopra-backed social networking app Bumble officially launched in India just yesterday. Founded by former Tinder co-founder Whitney Hurd, Bumble has gone beyond just being a dating app and is positioning itself as a social networking platform for women, by women. And CNBC TV 18 Saina Denugara caught up with the Bumble founder Whitney Wolfe Hurd and COO Sarah Jones Simmer to find out what sets this app apart from the Facebooks and the LinkedIns of the world. Listen in to what they had to say.
Bumble has 45 million registered users worldwide. We got our start, as Whitney said, in the United States. We've seen strength in markets like Canada, the UK, Australia, continental Europe. India is our first entry point into Asia, and we're really excited about the opportunity that it represents for us. The app has been available in beta on iOS and Android, and this week is launching officially in market.
Can you give us a sense of some of your revenue streams and how you've gotten to profitability this early on in your journey as a social network? Some of the largest social networks are not yet profitable.
I will say that many people have questioned over the years, can you really do good business? Can you really have it all? Can you really build amazing numbers and make a difference in the world? And the answer is yes. And the answer is if you always, even when it, and most importantly, when it comes to monetizing one of your users who trusts you, who relies on you to deliver the message and the mission that you've promised, you have to really deliver an experience that's tailored and curated to that audience. So for example, we have one of the highest percentages of female payers, women payers of any of the digital platforms, and it's because we have optimized our payment system and the features that generate revenue to women. So setting up Bumble early on, we thought through, okay, if there is going to be this inherently different setup of women making the first move, sending the first message, let's put in the appropriate blockers that are healthy and encourage good behavior. But then one day when somebody feels they need more time or more access, this will be a revenue opportunity. So we didn't just create this free-for-all, and now we're not searching for ways to almost reverse out of that. We thoughtfully built this product with ways to unlock down the road, and so we never have to compromise our values. We will never have to take money from something that we feel is not in line with our mission. And candidly, we have turned down so many opportunities over the years that could have been great revenue markers, but really negative ones for our mission.
Now, as we wrap up the show, here is a beginner's guide on what an SIP or systematic investment plan is. Take a look.
Wow, Feroz, I never took you to be someone who'd be so fond of gardening.
Well, it can't be all work and no play. Now you know how I take care of my mental health after a big long week around the markets.
You know, Feroz, I agree with you wholeheartedly. For a lot of people, the market can be quite stressful. But then gardening does just the opposite. It's so relaxing. But I've been wanting to ask you, what's with this measurement?
Shall I explain it my way?
Go ahead.
I'm just being SIP smart about it, SIP smart about it. Indoor plants need little water. So this measurement helps me just like a systematic investment plan would. Wealth is created bit by bit, which allows you to invest in a predetermined frequency, a small amount on a monthly basis.
Okay, so that makes perfect sense because too much water or too little water, either way, it can be damaging to your plants. Just like being SIP smart or systematically smart would allow you to actually get more units when the market is down and the price is low. Isn't that right?
Yes, I think it's a very, very convenient tool for salaried employees so that they don't have to cash the market at a specific level because you're buying at different points in time. You're not worried about what market levels you're catching, and you can invest regularly a smaller amount of money, just like your salary gets credited.
So exactly how many reasons are there to invest via SIPs?
Well, it imparts financial discipline and helps you invest regularly without wrestling with the market moods or index levels. Just like these plants, they look fresh, they have life, and they're growing.
All right, so by watering, fertilizing, and nurturing these plants and your SIPs, you'd actually be able to benefit from compounding, and therefore, it'll help you achieve your long-term goals.
SIPs are surely a safer bet, and you can start with as little as 500 rupees as your monthly investment.
So like little drops of water can actually give you a lush green garden, and SIPs therefore throughout your long-term investing career can actually create massive wealth, isn't it?
Absolutely, couldn't agree more, Sumaira.
And Feroz, you remember what Buffett said, right? We're sitting under a tree because somebody planted a seed.
Who better than Buffett can say that?